A couple weeks ago, I said this has been the busiest season of my life, and it just continues. We are launching Mama Needs a Minute here in the Pacific Northwest at the end of the month. There's a trade show specific to this market that's a big deal. We're actually flying her up and bringing our entire team together to launch the product. And honestly, I think it's some of our finest work. This packaging, the brand story, all of it fits together so well. I think it's one of the most scalable versions of packaging we've ever come up with. And it just lands with the demographic that's totally underserved in the market. I think this is going to be a big product for us. I also think Kim's ability to just be a brand ambassador and tell the story that someone like myself can't tell, and speak specifically to women and parents who just need a minute to take a break and are looking for an alternative to alcohol or pharmaceuticals. This is going to be a big brand for us. Things continue to move at warp speed for Suncliff. We're getting some clarity on the opening orders, and things are looking fantastic on that front. The December market is going to be a big launch for Pure Care and for us. We know the product mix, we know the production times, everything's sort of come into focus here, and our relationship with Pure Care is fantastic. For those of you that have been around a long time, you know that it's harvest time. So we've got people coming in from all over to help. We're also servicing all the equipment and supplies that we make available to the different licenses. And of course, we'll be there to help oversee operations. Every year, no matter who you are, highest or lowest on the totem pole, we all go out to the farm and spend a little bit of time there. So I'll be heading out the end of next week. Hopefully I can give you guys a little update while I'm out there. The Mama Needs a Minute brand is a project that's a result of us trying to help our partners move more of their flower product. We have a suite of edibles brands that do very well in this market. Our pre-rolls do all right, but I think this is going to be a big hit for us, particularly because we're using top tier flower and getting a premium pricing with a top quality brand that's got a brand ambassador behind it. All of those variables make this a really exciting product line and an exciting time to be launching it. On the edible side, our brands have always been well represented here in the Pacific Northwest, but we are rolling out some Suncliff versions of the THC product that our licensed partners are going to make available here in the Pacific Northwest. The terpene gems that you're familiar with, our little hard candies, those are actually being made into a THC version that is going to be really cool. That's the best way to consume a product that has an altered terpene profile because you get it sublingually. We've got a lot of education we've got to do in this market as to why that product is so important, but I think that's one that's got national implications. It should be a product that scales really well across the industry because there aren't very many things like it. The other one that's got us really excited, of course, is the terpene gummies. It's basically the same thing as the hard candy, but in a gummy. We revamped the recipe. We've revamped the process for oil extraction to get a more refined product. We've refined the terpene profiles, and that product is going to sit on a shelf of its own in this market as well. We're further ahead on the gummies than we are on the hard candies. Those processes take months and months. Our licensees get feedback from the regulatory agencies that oversee them, and then we have to make adjustments and accommodate for the rule changes or whatever their interpretation is, and there are lots of them. Then the application gets resubmitted and you continue to go forward and you move through different layers of oversight and regulation, and in the end you get a final approval and the product can go to market. We're at about step 8 out of 10 on that. So the product is ready to go. We have the supplies and materials necessary from our end to make the products available to our licensees. As soon as we get the Washington market squared away, we are of course going to expand and look into new territories. We're also interviewing a few different groups that handle IR and PR. Both of those are going to be a big part of our go forward process. We're sort of consolidating our story into one clean message that's really easy to understand and digest, which is why we're forging ahead on the name change and the ticker symbol change. We want all of the business activity to tie back to the Suncliff brand and our company as a whole. You're going to see a lot of things develop over the course of the next couple of months with those brands. We have a whole host of Suncliff products that are designed to roll out periodically over time. Of course, all of that is led by the Pillow Project with our international partners in Pure Care. I don't think it would be an update if we didn't touch on what the Biden administration did. A federal pardon doesn't do much when it's simple possession, but there were 6,500 people whose records were impacted by the pardons. It also sets a precedent, and they're calling on the state level to do the same thing. A lot of people will be impacted if they were to adopt the same policies at the state level. We know that's not going to happen everywhere, but it's a big step. I've been in this industry so long that we used to just appreciate when presidents and politicians just didn't act aggressively towards cannabis. That was considered a win. I take these forward steps for what they are. They're progress. It's not perfect. There's a lot of work to be done, but the most important thing that happened there was a call to inquire into the scheduling of cannabis. If they reschedule cannabis, public companies like ours will have direct access to potentially own revenue streams from licensed producer processors. That's big. If we were to go out and acquire a chain of retail stores, that revenue as it is right now wouldn't do us much good because we can't directly touch it. But if it were reclassified, there are opportunities for us to capture much bigger revenue streams by acquiring certain brands and certain retail outlets that are getting end of the supply side revenue that's big, and it's important to our industry's growth and development. And just overall, it's going to open up the investment community to the cannabis industry, and I think that's going to be one of the major milestones for us. If it's rescheduled, the research and development from a scientific perspective and a medical perspective is going to be a huge step forward. So it's not just about getting people out of jail or making more money. It affects the entire industry. It's also going to reduce theft and crime because we're not dealing with so much cash. This industry already has an uphill battle. It's going to drastically help normalize cannabis in America if we can limit crime and theft that's associated with the industry that's mostly due to the fact that we have cash and limited banking services. I think our ability to be nimble and flexible through all of these rule changes and targeting markets that allow us to take full advantage of great banking relationships, that's one of our key advantages. But I look forward to the lid coming off of this and deploying a lot of these ideas and a lot of the work we've done over the years on a national level. And although it's not critical that it's rescheduled or federally legalized for us to flourish, it's going to speed up the process dramatically. Timing-wise, I think we're perfect. I love where we are. I don't know that anyone's done a better job setting up the stage. And if some of these other pieces fall into place at just the right time, I cannot describe to you how excited we are to see how all of that unfolds. Either way, the next 6 months is going to be incredible for us as a company, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Have a great weekend.